puede ser más como una prueba. Em, Ahorita lo que quiero practicar un poquito es mi inglés, entonces pues quiero leer algunos libros en inglés, a ver si me da tiempo, pero al menos el que sí yo quiero acabar es es el segundo libro de Harry Potter. Em, Obviamente está en inglés, si a ustedes les gusta o no les gusta, pues yo espero que les guste y si no, pues no, no pasa nada. Entonces voy a empezar a leerlo. Más que nada, reitero, porque me interesa mejorar mi speaking. Entonces puede que no se escuche bien, lo más probable es que no se escuche bien, pero pues sí me gustaría hacerlo, más que nada para irme pues soltando y poder grabar este audio y poder ver mi avance a lo largo de las semanas o de los meses. Y si a ustedes pues les sirve, les relajo o pues, si no les sirve pues también no hay problema, ¿no? Pero pues más que nada es por eso, para empezarme a soltar un poquito más, ¿no? Entonces vamos a empezar con el primer capítulo. Ok. Chapter 1, The World's Birthday. Not for the first time an argument had broken out over breakfast has number for private drive. Mr. Vernon Dursley had been woken in the early hours from the morning by a loud hooting noise from his nephew Harry's son. Third time this week he routed across the table. If you can control that owl, it have to go. Harry tries yet again to explain. She is bored, he said. He's used to flying around outside. If I could just let her out at night. Do I look stupid? Snarling until Vernon, a bit of rich eggs, dumpling from his hugely moustache. I know what happened if the owls let out. He exchanged dark looks with his wife Petunia. Harry tried to argue back, but his words were thrown by a long blade from the Dursley son, Dursley, and one more bacon. There's enough on fried pan, Swearon said Aunt Petunia, turning misty eyes on their massive son. They must feed you up while you got the chance. I don't like the sound of that school food. Nonsense, Petunia, I never went hungry when I was at smelting, said Uncle Vernon cheerily. Durley gets enough, don't you, son? Durley, who was no large, his bottom drawing over either side of the kitchen chair, grinning and turning to Harry past the frying pan. You're forgotten the married work, said Harris irritably. The effect of his simple sentence on the rest of the family was incredible. Dursley gasped and fell off his chair with a crash that shook the whole kitchen. Mr. Dursley gaped and smiled, screamed, and clapped her hands to her mouth. Mr. Dursley jumped to his feet, veins strewing in his temples. I mean, please, said Harry quickly. I didn't mean. What have I told you, thundered his uncle, spraying it over the table, about saying the M word in our house. But how are you treated, Dursley? Roaring Uncle Vernon, pounding the table with his fist. I wonder I will not tolerate mention of your abnormality under this roof. Harry started from his purple-faced uncle to his plate aunt, who was trying to have Dursley to his feet. "All right," said Harry, "all right." Uncle Vernon sat blank down, peering like a whitened rhinoceros and watching Harry closely out to the corner of his small, sharp eyes. Ever since Harry had come home from summer holidays, under Vernon has been treating with like a bomb that might go off at any moment, because Harry wasn't a normal boy. As a matter of fact, he was as not normal as it is possible to be. Harry Potter was a wizard fresh from his first years at Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. And if the Dursleys were unhappy to have him back to the holidays, it was nothing to how Harry left. He missed Hogwarts so much it was like having a constant stomachache. He missed the castle with its secrets, passageways, and ghosts. His lesson through her path, to her paths, not snake, potion master. The post arriving by old, eating banquets in the great hall, sleeping in his four-poster bed at Thornen dormitory, visiting the gamekeeper, Hagrid and his cabin in the grounds next to the forbidden forest, and especially Quidditch, the most popular sport in the wizardly world. Six tall goal posts, four flying balls, and 14 players on broomsticks. All Harry's spells book, his wand, robes, Colburn and top on the Reg. Nimbus 2000 broomsticks has been looked up cupboard under the stairs by Uncle Vernon the instant Harry had come home. What did the Dursley care if Harry lost his place in the house? Quitting team because he didn't practice all summer. What was into the Dursley if Harry went back to school without any of his homework done? The Dursleys were one wizard called Muggles, not a drop or magical blood in their veins. And as far as they were concerned, having a wizard in the family was a matter of deepest shame. Uncle Vernon had even payload Harry's old, waiting inside the cage to stop her carrying message to anyone in the wizarding world. Harry looked nothing like the rest of the family. Uncle Vernon was large and necklace, with an enormous black moustache. Aunt Petunia was horse faces and bony. Dudley was blonde, pink and porky. Harry, on the other hand, was small and skinny with brilliant green eyes and jet black hair that was always untidy. He wore round glasses, and of his forehead was a thin, lightning-shaped scar. It was this scar that made Harry so particularly unusual, even for a wizard. This scar has the only thing hint to Harry's very nervously past of the reason he had been left on the Dursley's doorstep 11 years before. At the age of 1, Harry had somehow survived a curse from the greatest dark sorcerer of all time, Lord Voldemort, whose name most witches and wizards still feared to speak. Harry's parents had died in Voldemort attack, but Harry had escaped with his lightning scar, and somehow nobody understood why. Voldemort's powers had been destroyed the instant he had failed to kill Harry. So Harry had been brought up by his dead mother's sister and his husband. He had spent 10 years with the Dursley, never understanding but he kept making odd things happen without meaning to, believing the Dursley story that he has got his scar in the car crash which has killed his parent. And then, exactly a year ago, Howard had written to Harry, and he wrote the story had come out. Harry had taken up his face and wizard school, where he and his scar were famous, but now the school year was over, and he was back in the Dursley for the summer, back to behind theatre like a dog that had rolled in something smelly. The Dursley hadn't even remembered that today happened to the Harrys' 12th birthday. Of course, his hopes had been heights. They'd never given him a proper present, let alone a cake, but to ignore it completely. At the moment, Uncle Vernon cleared his throat importantly and said, "No, as we all know, today is a very important day." Harry looked up, hardly daring to believe it. "This could well be the day I make the biggest deal of my career," said Uncle Vernon. Harry went back to these thoughts. Of course, he talked bitterly. Uncle Vernon was talking about the stupid dinner party. I'd been talking of nothing else for a fortnight. Some rich builder was his wife were coming to dinner and Uncle Vernon was hoping to get a hugel or order from him. Uncle Vernon's company made drills. "I think we should run through the schedule, not worth time," said Uncle Vernon. "We should all be in position at 8 o'clock. Petunia will leave." "In the lounge," said Aunt Petunia promptly, waiting to welcome Get graciously or to come. "God," and Dursley, "'ll be waiting to open the door." Dursley put on a floor simpery smile. "May I take your coats, Mr. and Mr. Manson?" They loved him, cried to Aunt Petunia rapturously. "Excellent, Dursley," said Uncle Vernon. They came round on Harry. "And you?" "I'll be in my bedroom, making no noise and pretending I'm not there," said Harry Dunn. "Introduce you, Petunia, and your damn drinks, and 8:15. "I'll anyone's dinner," said Aunt Petunia, "and Dudley will say, 'I'll make you through to the dining room, Mr. Manson,'" said Dudley, offering his fat arm to invisible woman. "My perfect little gentleman," sniffed Aunt Petunia. "And you?" said Uncle Vernon viciously to Harry. "I'd be in my room, making a noise and pretending I'm not there," said Harris Dudley. "Presently now she should aim to get a few good compliments at dinner. Petunia, any ideas?" "Vernon tells me you're wonderful golfer, Mr. Manson. Do tell me where you bought your dress, Mr. Manson." "Perfect, Dursley. How about we had to write an essay about to hero at school, Mr. Manson, and I wrote about you." It was too much for both Aunt Petunia and Harry. Aunt Petunia burst into tears and hugged her son, while Harry ducked under the table so they wouldn't see him laughing. "And you, boy?" Harry found to keep his face straight, and he emerged. "I'll be in my room, making no noise and pretending I'm not there," he said. "Too right you will," said Uncle Vernon forcedly. "He Manson don't know anything about you. It's going to stay that way. When's dinner over you take Mr. Mason back to the long for coffee. Petunia, I'll bring the subject rooms deals. With any luck, I hope the deal signed and sealed before the news attempt. While we shopping for a holiday home in Mallorca in this time tomorrow. Harry couldn't feel excited about it. He didn't think the Dursley wouldn't like him in better in Mallorca than they did a private drive. Right, I'm off into town to pick up the dinner jackets from Durley and me. And you? He snapped at Harry. You stayed out of your aunt's way while he's cleaning. Harry left through the back door. It was brilliant sunny day. He crosses the lawn, jumping down to the garden branch, and sang under his breath, "Happy birthday to me, happy birthday to me." It was very, very sad. No cars, no present, and he would be spending the evening pretending not sick. He gazed miserably into the hedge. He had never felt so lonely, more than anything else at Hogwarts, more even than planning quickly while you're standing at the hedge. He said suspiciously, "I'm trying to decide what would the best spell to set it on fire," said Harry. Dudley stumbled backwards at once. A look of panic of his fat face. You can't! That's told you were not to magic. He said they'll shoot you out of the house, and you haven't got anywhere else to go. You haven't got any friends to take you. Jiggerly pocketly, said Harry, and its first voice. Hocus pocus is wingly wingly. Mmm, shouted Dudley, tipping over his feet as he asked back toward voice. Mmm, he's doing you down then. Harry paid dearly of his moment fun, as neither Dudley nor the edge was in any way hurt. Aunt Petunia knew he hadn't really done magic, but he still has to duck as she aimed a heavy blow in his head with the soapy frying pan. Then she had him what to do, with the promise we wouldn't eat again until he'd finished. White Dursley lounged around watching and eating ice creams. Harry cleaned the windows, washed the car, moved the lawn, trimmed the flower beds, pruning and watered the roses, and repaired the garden branch. The sun blazes overhead, burning the back on his neck. Harris knew they shouldn't have risen Dursley's bait, but Dursley had said everything Harry had been thinking himself. Maybe he didn't have any friend at Hogwarts. Uh, Wish they shouldn't see famous Harry Potter now, he thought savagely as he experiment minute of the flower beds, his back acting, sweat running down his face. It was 7:30 in the evening when at last, exhausted, it been Aunt Petunia calling him, "Get in here!" and walk on the newspaper. Harry moved gaily into the shade on the cleaning kitchen. On top of the fridge stood two knives pouring a huge mouth of whipped cream and sugary violence. A joint to roast pork was slinging in the oven. "Eat quickly!" the Manson will bear son snapped Aunt Petunia, pointing to two slices of bread and loaf of cheese on the kitchen table. She was already wearing a salmon pink cocktail dress. Harry washed in his hands and bolted down his pitiful supper. The document he was finished, Aunt Petunia wiggled away his plate upstairs. "Hurry!" As he passed the door on the living room, Harry caught a glimpse of Uncle Vernon and Dursley, in bow ties and dinner jacket. He had only just reached the upstairs landing when the dawn bell rang, and Uncle Vernon's furiously face appeared at the floor on the stairs. "Remember, boy, one son." Harry crosses to his bedroom on tiptoe, slipped inside, closed the door, and turned the collapse on his bed. The table was already something to eat. Y acabamos con el capítulo 1, chicos. Y sería todo. Muchísimas gracias por ver. No sé cómo cerrar este directo. Saludos a Iván Gesier Ranquecun Tires y también a Susan Ultra Huerta. Así que muchas gracias, cuídense y bye.